You ever get that nagging pain? You know the one. It just won't quit. And no matter what you do to the sore spot, nothing seems to help. Well, today, we're putting on our detective hats to solve a classic medical mystery. The case of the phantom shoulder pain, where the real culprit is hiding in a place you'd never expect.
Okay, so let's set the scene. You've got this deep, annoying ache right in your shoulder blade. Your first thought, naturally, is that the problem is the shoulder. But what if that pain is just a decoy, a misleading clue sent from a totally different part of your body? This is the central puzzle we're going to unravel today. All right, our investigation starts with this super common symptom, pain right around the scapula, the shoulder blade. It's a complaint that sends tons of people to the doctor, kicking off what can be a surprisingly complicated diagnostic journey. Now, what's wild is that even though this is incredibly common, figuring it out is notoriously tricky. There's actually a debate in the medical world about what this pain really means, and that can lead to wrong turns, delayed diagnoses, and treatments that just completely miss the mark. Every good detective starts by checking out the immediate crime scene, right? So our first stop is to look at the most obvious culprits, the local nerves that weave through the shoulder area itself. If one of these is acting up, it could for sure cause the pain we're looking at. The official term for this is mononeuropathy, and it's pretty simple when you break it down. Mono means one, neuro is nerve, and pathy means something's wrong. So one single nerve is in trouble. This could happen from an injury or maybe from a repetitive motion that's just squeezing that nerve. So let's meet our three main local suspects. First up, the long thoracic nerve. If this one's got a problem, you might see the shoulder blade literally wing out when you push against a wall. Then there's the dorsal scapular nerve. Damage here can make something as simple as reaching for your wallet a real challenge. And last, the spinal accessory nerve. Trouble here? You might get a dropped shoulder or find it hard to shrug. Each one leaves its own unique calling card. And this scapular winging thing, it's a pretty dramatic clue. You see, the shoulder blade is supposed to lie flat against your back. But with this, it sticks out like a little wing. So when a doctor sees that, it seems like an open and shut case, right? The problem has to be a local nerve. But as we're about to find out, even the clearest evidence can sometimes be a red herring. And here it is, the big plot twist. What if the pain in the shoulder isn't the crime scene at all? What if it's just where the culprit planted the evidence? Because it turns out the real mastermind of this whole thing is often located way up the chain, in your neck. So, meet our prime suspect, a condition called cervical radiculopathy. Fancy name, I know, but it's basically just a pinched nerve in your cervical spine. That's the neck part of your backbone. When one of those nerve roots gets squeezed or irritated as it's leaving the spine, it can start sending out false pain signals anywhere along that nerve's path. Let's look at the evidence, shall we? A huge review of 86 different studies mapped out where people with a confirmed pinched nerve in the neck actually feel pain. And yeah, no surprise, neck and arm pain are way up there at the top. That makes total sense.
But the real smoking gun, the clue that changes everything, is right here, in the shoulder blade. A shocking number of patients, way more than you'd think, report that their pain is in the scapula. It's one of the top 3 symptoms.
And the actual number? A staggering 72%. Get this, nearly 3/4 of the studies found this direct link. This just blows the whole investigation wide open and points the finger squarely at the neck. And here's why it's such a clever disguise. The research shows this shoulder blade pain can be the very first symptom to show up, sometimes weeks, even months before the more classic signs like arm or finger pain start. It's like the culprit is sending a warning shot long before revealing its true location. And this, right here, just shows you how tough this case can be. On the left, you've got a pain map for issues in the neck's little facet joints. On the right, a pain map for that radicular pain from a pinched nerve. See how they both create this huge hotspot of pain right over the shoulder blade? To you, and even to a doctor, they can feel exactly the same, making it incredibly hard to know which one is the real problem. So, we've unmasked our prime suspect, the neck. But in some cases, the plot thickens even more. It's not just one culprit, it's more like a conspiracy. And that brings us to something called the double crush theory. The idea behind double crush syndrome is that a nerve is kind of like a delicate supply line. If it's already a little compromised at one spot, say a mild pinch up in the neck, it becomes way more vulnerable to a second crush somewhere else, like down at your wrist or elbow. Now, scientists are still figuring out exactly why this happens, but there are two leading theories. The axonal transport theory says that first crush messes up the flow of vital nutrients down the nerve, basically starving the downstream parts and making them weaker. The ion channel theory suggests that first injury messes with the nerve's electrical wiring, making it super sensitive and more likely to fire off those pain signals.
So the key takeaway here is that this isn't just simple math. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's a synergistic effect, where 1 + 1 = 3. Think of it like a garden hose. One kink slows down the water, but a second kink can stop the flow almost entirely. It's the same idea with our nerves.
Okay, so we've got referred pain, we've got overlapping symptoms, we've even got these nerve conspiracies. With a case this complicated, how do the nerve detectives finally crack it? Well, they bring in the high-tech forensic tools.
They really have to attack it from all angles. An EMG is kind of like a wiretap for your nerves. It listens in on their electrical signals to see if the message is getting through loud and clear. Any slowdowns are a huge clue. Then you've got MRI and CT scans, which give this incredibly detailed picture of the spine, looking for the physical thing that might be pinching the nerve. And get this, high-resolution ultrasound lets doctors actually see the nerve itself, looking for trouble spots. And of course, all this is guided by a good old-fashioned physical exam.
So here's the bottom line. You have to look at the whole system. You just can't focus only on where it hurts. A good nerve detective knows that the evidence at the scene might just be the start of a very long trail. They have to investigate every single inch of that pathway, all the way from the spine to the fingertips, to find the real source of the problem.
So, after following all the clues and running all the tests, what's the ultimate lesson from the mystery of the misleading shoulder pain? What's the big takeaway from our investigation?
It all boils down to this one powerful idea. The fact that shoulder blade pain is such a major symptom of a pinched nerve in the neck proves that our bodies are this incredibly interconnected network. It shows that where you feel the pain isn't always where the problem is. And understanding that is the key to solving so many of these medical mysteries.
And that really brings us to our final question. If a problem in the neck can disguise itself so perfectly as shoulder pain, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secret conversations are happening inside our bodies right now? What other hidden connections are just waiting for us to discover?